Saddle up your horses. Started out this morning in the usual way.
Hey,
Good morning, Bart.
good
How are
morning.
you?
How you doing?
I'm good. How's the weather down there?
It's not too bad. A little wet. A little wet.
Oh, we got a little ice.
Oh, wow.
Not too bad though.
Yeah, it's been pretty good here the last few days.
That's great. So, where are you doing your live feed from? Can you tell everybody?
Yeah, I'm in Cherryville, North Carolina, close to Charlotte.
Awesome. Great place.
Yeah, yeah,
So, you been doing okay this week?
yeah, yeah. Been doing good. How about
Great.
you? How about you?
I've been great. Been
Oh, good.
trying to multitask here. I've got a live stream, the IF gatherings in Austin. So that's live streaming in my front room. So I've invited ladies over for that. So my daughter and grandson's in there, and then we're going to have another group through it too. So
Well,
got a
good.
bunch of stuff going on here. I tried to get the other video system working where I have a little cool intro video for Kickin It Java Style, but it does not want to cooperate. So we're just going to wing it.
That's fine. That's fine.
So, to everybody that's watching, welcome to Kickin It Java Style with Cassie and Bart Fortenberry. So we're going to talk about Bart's music and his ministry. I became friends with him probably 3 years, maybe 4 years ago. I don't know how long it's been now, doing social media promotions. And I had a podcast program that I started and was doing his, songs on there. And so got to watching him on Facebook and watching what he does. And I thought it'd be great to have him with us this morning. And I have to tell a funny. The first time I ever put your song in, it was at the very end of my podcast, and I was closing with it, and I introduced you and mixed up your B and your F on your name. I re-recorded the entire 30-minute segment, but thank God now, if I mess up, I know I can cut and paste and do stuff with it. But
Hey, that's fine. I've been called all kind of things.
I was glad I wasn't live. So, well. We're going to talk about your music. I know you do inspirational country and some Christian country, whatever title you want to call it. But I would love to hear about how you got started, in the Christian country world.
Well, I think it was back in 2000 or something like that. I had a brother living in Atlanta. Actually, it's probably before that, but he sent me I was involved in country music a little bit, and I've always been a drummer all my life and played in groups and stuff. And my brother sent me a tape of a guy named Stephen Curtis Chapman, and
Right.
I liked his style of music, and it just took on from there. I started, looking for other artists like that and learning, and so I mean that's how I got started. So.
Wow. I love Stephen Curtis Chapman. So he's a great inspiration, for anybody.
Yeah. Great artist, great songwriter. Yeah.
Right. When did you receive your foundation in Christ?
That was 1998, I believe it was.
1998.
Yeah.
Do you have any, like memory of where you were? Or
Oh
exactly?
yeah. I'll never forget that day. I always tell people, it's some people don't remember it, but that day I can remember it vividly. I was sitting in a church, and the pastor had a altar call, and I tell people it's that feeling that I felt. I couldn't sit still. I couldn't stand still. I had to, go out and walk down to the front and give my life to Christ. And like I tell people, it's a feeling I can't explain. And
Right.
So.
That's an awesome, a great, memory to keep forever and to pass down, because it's always going to be part of your life, part of your testimony,
Yep.
something you pass down to your children and grandchildren. And it's just something that you never forget. And, I can remember, my first, experience in being saved. And I'm not very far from the actual church that I got saved in. And I thought, a lot of times people think, well, it's not the cool thing to do. But for me, I was encouraged and inspired by, the people around me and the other young kids. And so I was like, me, I want to get saved. But, it's just something you never forget. And,
Right.
But, well, we have, you know, a lot of different things that we could talk about today, but I really want to focus on your music, what you're doing with your youth ministry. And I know that you have a new song out, and I know that, you know, you've got a story behind that, I'm sure, and I would love to hear about it and see where that song's going and what you're doing with that.
Well, actually, I didn't know I had a new song out, but a lady named Micah, she's been sending me things about, you know, playing a song on the radio called "Raised Like That," and
Yeah.
It's a song I wrote. I don't know, it's been a long time since I wrote that song. It's on my last CD that I put out, which has been, you know, a few years ago. But you know, it sounds like it's doing pretty good. It's just I was just pretty much honest about how I was raised and
Right.
the way things are today, and it seems like it's doing pretty good right now. So, but like I said, I didn't even know. They must have picked it off the CD and started playing it, and I'm glad. I mean, I wish it was
Right.
all. I wish it was all
Yeah.
that easy, you know. So, but yeah, it's seems like everybody's, you know, it's doing pretty good because they're playing it a lot anyway. So, but
I'm pretty sure I played it on my program a couple of times, and I do. It's a fun song. I love it, and you know, Micah's great. I love what she's doing with her program, and I'll have to have her on the show one day and
right,
you know, her
right.
tell what she's doing. But I do know your music is getting ready to go on Gospel Hour Radio if it hasn't already been put on there, because I sent it over there. So
Oh, okay.
I'll be watching for that and let you know. And then, you know, you have a song I saw on your, you know, your website that you had a #1 song in the ICM charts. It was called "Power of Prayer." I would
Yep.
love to hear what's behind that song. And
yeah, well, that song I wrote it about a little boy who went to the church I was attending, and that's another story I'll never forget. I know that the young parents, which they was real young at that time, that little boy had been diagnosed with spinal bifida, and they had gotten some, you know, rough news that the little boy might not be able to walk, and if he did, you know, it wouldn't be good, or he'd have to have, you know, braces and all that stuff. Well, the pastor called, you know, everybody up one Sunday to gather around the little boy and pray for him, and so we did, and I went home that day and started writing the song, and then it's probably 5-6 months later, they called the grandmother up to the front, who was actually the secretary of the church, and brought the little boy up there and stood him about 5-6 feet away from her up there on the stage, and he walked to her with no help or nothing, and so, you know, I always tell people, you know, the power of prayer really works. I mean,
absolutely,
that was a definite answer right there to prayer. So, you know,
that
it's
is
just
amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing to see that. And, you know, as I was in the youth ministry, which you mentioned it a while ago, I'm not anymore. I'll get into that in a minute, but yeah, the boy, he grew up, he's a teenager now, and doing good. You know, he's, you know, just a regular teenage boy, you know.
Wow.
So, but yeah,
and he knows about
good.
the song. He knows the songs about him? And
oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he does.
Well, we will discuss your youth pastoring, since you've already brought that up. I love the little videos you do. I don't know if you do it on your Facebook. I see him mainly on Instagram. He gets the sign and he dances.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's pretty awesome, you know, that you're out there encouraging the teenagers. So could you tell us, you know, about your ministry with the teens?
Yeah, I was, you know, over the youth at the church I was going to for, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years. I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, I got to the point where, you know, I started doing all these funny things. You know, I'd put a mask on sometimes, and over in North Carolina, I don't know if it's everywhere, but whenever this guy on TV, he advertises the lottery for North Carolina, where he's wearing this thing. It looks like a calendar, because, you know, something with the lottery. It happens a certain point of the year or month or something. Well, it gave me the idea to took a big box, and painted up, make it look like a calendar that sits on your desk, and wrote on it, you know, something about going, it's Wednesday night or youth night or something like that. And I'd get out there and I'd start, you know, put it over my head and dance around, you know, and act like a, idiot or something, but it gained a lot of attention. I had people everywhere,
Yeah.
sending me message, saying, that's neat, or pass it on to somebody. Hey, you ought to do this, So, I mean, I thought that's pretty cool, but yeah, I always try to keep things interesting, and I miss it. I resigned last year. I figured it was time for me to move on. I've got a lot of things I was, trying to put together, and as I've been getting older, I figured them teams was wearing me out. It's hard to keep up with them. So, plus, I always try to keep things going and staying out late, take them to, Christian concerts and stuff. And so, I mean, it's about to wear me out. So, I figured it's time for me to resign and let somebody a little bit younger than me take it over. So, but I miss it. I miss it a lot. But it's time to always have to make a change sometimes and move on to something else, whatever the Lord wants me to do. So.
Absolutely. And those teens will always be connected to you. So they're watching you on social media, and you'll always have an influence on them. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any new songs you're working on, or new CD projects or anything like that in the making?
I've written a lot of other stuff, and I'm just, waiting to do another CD to see what where I'm headed to next. I've got a lot of things I'm getting ready to enter. A lot of it's for songwriting. I've thought about just, trying to, be a songwriter and have artists record my songs. And so I'm going to a few conventions and few, local things and about songwriting, and see what I can, accomplish there. Cause I really enjoy it. And, plus, I've gotten into trying to, speak and preach a little bit more. So, it's, but I still love to sing. I still love to go out and do it, whenever I can. That's one thing. The dream hadn't really worked out like I wanted. I wish I could have played a lot more, but it's churches, they have to be a little bit more aware these days who they bring in, and so I understand all that. So I mean, it's people don't realize it's a tough thing to try to. People say, oh, when you go out there and go sing in any church, it's not that easy. So
no, and it's hard to. Because you feel like you're trying to self-promote, so it's hard to put the word out. You're available, and it's just a hard field. And it's one of the things I love doing. If it's hard, financial side. If I could go full time and do anything, it would be to help promote Christian country artists and get them booked. But there's a lot of I can't just quit my job and do that. But I love helping do that. I love sharing, sending emails, and contacting. But you're right. For an artist. For a minister, it's hard because you just don't want to self-promote, and you start feeling like you're pushing yourself. So you're waiting for those open doors, and you just start getting frustrated. But, I don't believe, that God's through in any way with your music. So even if it's through songwriting or whatever, those doors are going to open. I believe that, with all my heart. Sometimes we're in the waiting. Sometimes, maybe you're getting some healing. We don't know what the circumstances, but, I know. I've read your bio on your website, and I know you've gone through some things in the last few years, and I don't know, when that took place or whatever, but I know that you've gone through a divorce and some loss, and, the Lord's healing and restoring. And if you have anything to share on that, we could talk about that, what you can give to other people, what you've learned through, this time. Because like you said, all that affects your ministry, your music, what you're writing. It probably actually influences some of your writing to, as God's going through this with you.
Yeah. And you bring it up. It's amazing. Whenever I first got into the youth ministry, I prayed and asked God to, and I always tell people this, you better watch out what you pray for, and because I prayed and asked God, to help me have more compassion and understanding of the way, people's feelings, and stuff. And because, I'd be around people, and how they'd talk bad about certain individuals, and he answered that prayer. He put some people into my life that I've tried to help, and went through a lot of things with them, and it's opened my eyes and made me have more compassion for people. Because it's, if somebody's mean to you, that don't necessarily that they mean to you, because it could be some underlying issue. They just taking it out on you because, they don't have anything else to do. Anything else better to do. I've seen that, and it's just like, with the kids, I mean, they might have a bad home life, and and take that out on other kids. Not necessarily they're a bad kid. It's just, they've got some, issues at home, and it ain't their fault. And with school and me dealing with the kids, I mean, there's some kids can be, mean these days, and not necessarily that they're mean kids. It's just that they might have a bad home life, and it's sad. And I've tried to, reach out to a few, and then, talking about, the answered prayer thing about the, whenever I pray and ask God to give me compassion, I've tried to help this one lady, she got this sickness and this disease, and she was about to lose her home. And I helped her get through all that and get through, getting her disability. I mean, I realize that sometimes, people just has things happen to them. It ain't because of nothing. I mean, it's just, we all just have to keep our faith, and keep moving on day to day and take it one day at a time. I mean, life can be hard. Life's not fair. I mean, that's the reason why, Christ, he died on that cross for us, so that, we all have that choice to make. Sometimes people don't make the right choices, but, it's not necessarily meaning that anybody's bad or whatever. It's just, we have to suffer the choices that we make. And hey, I've made some bad ones too. And we all fall short, like it says. But, as far as the divorce thing, I hate to see anybody go through that. I mean, that's a heartbreaking thing to go through. And neither, I've been through it twice, and neither one of my ex-spouses, we still talk. Matter of fact, my daughter just got married the end of December, and both of them was there and with their new spouses, and I talking to them, and I mean, it's just, there ain't no use to hold grudges. And I know there's a lot of people that hold grudges and mad, but that's not what life's about. I mean, we're supposed to forgive people and move on, and
absolutely.
Because the way we do with our actions, people's watching us if we call ourselves a Christian. And that's something else I always talked about. And whenever I'd go out and minister, that, I always didn't like that word, calling yourself a Christian, because it's been too widely used and not necessarily people really meant it. I always like calling myself a follower of Christ, because if you call yourself that, then, you're saying something, at least you're trying, what I mean? Because we all gonna fall short again, but yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Hurting people hurt people. That's one of the things you said a while ago about the people being mean to each other. And, when I become a hurting person, and then you're right, it gives you more compassion for those people, and you understand, hey, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And then, you mentioned the not holding on to things, not holding on to grudges, and, the hurt and the pain. And, that's exactly what releases us to be able to help those others that are hurting. And so that's, a very powerful subject. I saw you have coffee. I was hoping that you were joining the coffee club.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I got my cup. My daughter gave me best dad ever cup. So.
All right. Well, I have one in honor of you. I don't know if you can read it backwards. It's as Southern as possible, ASAP.
Oh, okay.
So, and I have to do a little ad. I'm drinking Two Sparrows coffee. I did an interview with one of the ladies from there last week, Barbara Lloyd. And so it's great coffee. So you'll have to look that up. But are you going to be able to go live with some music with us? Do you have something prepared, or?
Yeah, I can.
Just a couple songs.
Yeah.
Well, let's do that, and then we'll come back to this.
All right.
Oh, and one of the ladies wanted to know, what's the name of that song that Mike is playing for you?
Raised Like That.
All right, Raised Like That.
Yeah. This song here I wrote, whenever I was growing up with my grandfather. He had a big farm, and I just got the idea from it. So it's called What Life's All About.
All right.
I finished school at the School of Hard Knocks. Dirt on my jeans and on my boots, and calluses on my hands was all I got. I didn't get no piece of paper from some Ivy League school. No, I got schooled by my grandpa at an early age. He used to say, boy, get up, don't sleep your life away. 'Cause it's Sunday morning and we got church to go to. You see, you learn a lot about life there and what can help get you through. Yeah, you just need a little mercy. You just need a little grace. You gotta learn how to pray, boy, and praise the Lord every day. You see, life is not guaranteed. You gotta make every day count. So just be kind and give forgiveness. 'Cause living for Christ is what life's all about. We used to farm the land, sow seeds and watch it grow. I learned so much way back then, and now I'm sowing seeds for the love of Christ. You see, he gave his life for me and forgave me of my sins. Yeah, I just need a little mercy. I just need a little grace. I gotta learn how to pray more and praise the Lord every day. You see, life is not guaranteed. I gotta make every day count. I try to be kind and give forgiveness. 'Cause living for Christ is what life's all about. Yeah, it's what life's all about. We all need a little mercy. We all need a little grace. We gotta learn how to pray more and praise the Lord every day. You see, life is not guaranteed. We gotta make every day count. Let's try to be kind and give forgiveness. 'Cause living for Christ, yeah, let's be kind and give forgiveness. 'Cause living for Christ is what life's all about. It's what life's all about.
Love it. Love it. All right. So, what would you say your most favorite power verse is? Something you stand on and use a lot.
Well, that one's an easy one. In Galatians 5:22 and 23, it says, when the Holy Spirit has control of your life, he will produce love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, and faithfulness, and self-control. And I always tell people the reason why that's my favorite verse is because that's what everybody wants in this life, is it not? So,
Absolutely. Well, that just really spoke to me too, because that's the way we can measure our lives and our day. If we're not producing those things, we better get, filled up. And it's not necessarily the love's already in us. It's actually not filling up with God. I mean, you can't get any bigger than God. It's
right.
letting him push out those things that, are not of him. So that's a very powerful verse.
Yep.
Okay. If you could tell all the listeners out here one thing to encourage them not to give up on their dreams, not to give up on their goals, not to give up on the purpose and plan God has for them, what would that one thing be?
Well, just, stay strong. I mean, if you feel like God has placed something on your heart, then don't let him down. I mean, it might not ever happen. It talks about in the Bible, we all run that race, but nobody, we all won't win, but we all run that race. And, we have to keep trying. We can't quit, because if God's placed something on your heart, then you got to keep going for it, and that's the reason why I can't quit the music. I cannot quit the ministry part of it. You know, even though that, you know, I've even entertained starting a church, and I went and talked to somebody last night and just trying to decide if that's the direction I wanted to go. And I don't think that's the way I'm going to go, but, you know, I just, you never know, you know, you have to, you know, research and check out things, because you don't know where God's going to lead you next. And you just have to be obedient and be patient. That's one thing that I've never had much of, but I've tried to have. So, you know, it's, that's another big thing, you know, so you just have to be patient and be obedient. And if you do that, then everything will fall into place, and trust him every single day. So
absolutely.
And
can you tell
a lot.
everybody, pray a lot,
Yeah.
Pray, listen, and obey.
Yeah.
Can you tell everybody where they can go, like what your website address is, and where they can go and listen to your music? And I think you've got some sermons on there and just some information. Yeah,
you can go to bartfortenberrymusic.com. Fortenberry spelled it. That's always a bad name to try to spell. It's Fortenbery. Everybody wants to put two R's in it, but it's just one R. And bartfortenberrymusic.com. And you know, I just started working on another website. You know, I had a podcast thing out, so I'm getting ready to put a website up for that. So.
Okay, good deal. Can you end us with one more song?
Yeah, I can.
All right.
Yeah. I've heard people get confused when you ask them to define it, 'cause it's a miracle. It keeps the world from dying. It gives hope to those that's crying now. We can't see it, but we know it's real. It's the only thing I've found that can truly heal. It's invisible. You can't touch it. No matter where you go on earth, you can't outrun it. No matter what you've done, fail or succeed, it's the most important thing in life that we all need, and it's God's love. It's God's love. Sometimes I find those that hunger for that love, they look everywhere but up, straying off the path. The love's so beautiful, that love's unconditional, satisfying and full of hope. We can't see it, but we know it's real. It's the only thing I've found that can truly heal. It's invisible. We can't touch it. No matter where you go on earth, you can't outrun it. No matter what you've done, fail or succeed, it's the most important thing in life that we all need, and it's God's love. It's God's love. It's a love that's so amazing the sacrifice has been made. It's a love that's for all of us. It's invisible. You can't touch it. No matter where you go on earth, you can't outrun it. No matter what you've done, fail or succeed, it's the most important thing in life that we all need, and it's God's love. It's God's love.
What a powerful song.
Well, thank you.
Well, I am so glad you were able to join in today. And for those that were watching, it is all about God's love. And I mean, I can just, like, I've got God bumps right now. I don't even know how to explain it. You know, here you are in North Carolina, and I'm in Welch, Oklahoma, and it's just the power of God. There's no distance in God's love and his power. And so I'm so grateful to have you on the program. And for everybody that's listening and watching out there, and, you know, welcome to Kickin It Java Style with Cassie and Bart.
Saddle up your